was it financial? Was it like, I was reading a book where if people try to kill themselves by jumping off a bridge into water, if they do it over romantic entanglements, if they do it over a woman or a guy, they almost always, if they don't die when they hit the water, swim to the surface. They're like, what am I doing? This is so stupid. And they swim out and they get saved. If they're jumping over financial shit, they sink like a stone. They're just like, thank God this is over. Like it's just these different things get into people's minds and just extinguish any sort of flame. Yeah, no, and people ask me that all the time, like because I have a dark sensibility that like something happened to you, and it's like, no, I've had a very charmed life. Like I've had a great life. My parents are still together. You know, there was no abuse. I was always drawn to violence and awful things in life. It just people just didn't talk about them, and I was like, why not? They're so important. Like, why is this so forbidden? Why does no one want to talk about death?
Yeah.
You know, and as a kid, I was shamed for that a lot, of like always being like, what about this? And they'd be like, stop talking about that. Like, we don't want to talk about the Challenger anymore, Anthony. Like, it blew up. Like, you're in first grade, just move on to other things. And I didn't understand what was unhealthy about it. I thought if the greatest minds in history have been sitting there wondering what happens when we die, why is it weird for a kid to think about it?
Yeah.
So that them pushing back on me made me mad. And that anger carried me through my first 10 years of comedy.
Wow.
And then you get success and you let go of the anger. You're like, okay, what do I have left? And it's interest. You know, it's these topics interest me, and I want to find a way to make people laugh at them.
Wow, that's interesting, man. Do you think like that we do it because, like, do you think a lot of people do it? There's a chip on their shoulder.
Yes.
Like they want to prove that they. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what did I want to prove?
Prove you're not a fucking loser. I feel like when you're in school, it's like you're ruining. Not only are you messing up your own education, but everyone around you. Everyone sitting within 4 desks is getting a worse grade because they're near you.
Oh yeah,
everyone's furious, and you're like, I've got to prove. Like my high school put me in the Hall of Fame, an alumni Hall of Fame, a few years ago, and I was so proud.
Wow.
Because I gave a speech and I was like, this is you guys saying you were right.
Yeah.
You know, like for 12 years of high school, they were just like, fucking stop this. You're throwing your life away. And I was like, watch me. Like I'm trust me, I've got a plan. And it all worked out. And now they're like, great, we're proud that you're from this school. And that took a long time.
How many though? First of all, that's unbelievable. Did you go back to the school and they had, like gave you a accommodation of sort?
Yeah, they had it was like this like little trophy thing, like a big glass like triangle. There were like 10 other people that all kind of gave little speeches, but I was like, I'm the one who had a TV show with my name in the title. You know, like this is my thing. This other guy just still plays tennis. Like,
right.
That's why he's in it.
Right. He's a Sherwin-Williams manager. It counts, but
yeah.
Wow, dude, that's unbelievable. Did it almost? I wonder if that would make me feel like so much more rewarded than anything, because that was like the battlegrounds of being fun. Like that was where I feel like it was the most fun to be funny.
Yes.
Did you have that experience or no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I couldn't not tell a joke. If I thought of it, I'm like, this is too good. It's going to go to waste. But my thing was trying to make the teacher laugh.
Oh.
Because if you made a joke in class, teacher would yell at you immediately. But if you made her laugh or him laugh, it was always a woman, and I think about it, then they couldn't get mad at you. And that felt so good. Because it was like, you knew you did something wrong, but you did it in the best way possible. So now you're the star.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So it's like, how do you not get in trouble? Like
right. I understand you're going to put me in trouble, but you and I know.
Yes. And all these comics now, it's like almost the point is to get in trouble. It's like, why are you giving me shit? I'm a comic. I'm allowed to say whatever I want. That's wrong as far as I'm concerned. Art.
Oh, wait, say it again so I don't miss it.
People think like, oh, as a comic, your job is to get in trouble. And so, but they don't want to get yelled at. It's like, it's okay to make people mad, but they don't want any pushback. And I think that's wrong. Oh. As a comedian, you want to make people laugh. This is a quote attributed to Andy Warhol that I love. It's just, art is getting away with it. You know, if you put out a special and everyone's pissed, like you didn't get away with it. You know, you need to make everyone laugh that they're like, yeah, he talks about some fucked up stuff, but we're all happy. That's art. Otherwise, you're just a troll.
That's fascinating, man, because it adds another level. That Anthony he'll take like a month or two off and just go somewhere and do something and spend time with him by himself or go travel,
But it would usually be a writing retreat. Like I would be going to write. Like I got to go away and lock myself in a cabin and write 100 jokes. Like I would be like, in a week, I got to write 100 no matter when I do it, but I got to leave here with 100 jokes. Wow. And I remember the one time I did that, I went up and got a place in Ojai and I wrote 100 jokes in a week. I was writing on Fallon at the time and I couldn't write my own stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to take a week and go do this. And of all those jokes, of 100 jokes, one of them made it into my act. And it was like a 30-second joke that I was like, this was probably a bad use of my time. But I always feel like, I don't know how you feel about this, but you have to get the bad jokes out to get to the good jokes. You know, let's say but when you start doing comedy, you're going to write 1 million jokes in your life. Let's say 200 of them are going to be great, but you still need to write 1 million. You can't just write 200 and stop. That I'm always trying to write just to get the bad ones out. so that the good ones can come to me. But yeah, I would do that.
Guys, yeah, like who was that? Oh, Louis C.K. I was talking with him, and he said, what did he say? He said, it's the ones you don't want to tell a lot of times, like the ones that'll sit there that you're afraid to tell. He's like, for him anyway, he said those are the ones that end up becoming his favorite.
So interesting. I love that he says things like that. Like I remember he did SNL one year, and he was like, there was one sketch that I was like, I hate this. It's so stupid. We have to do it. Like I want to do something where I'm like, I have to blow a big horn, and I feel stupid doing it because that's what SNL is to me. Like I want to do this. Where he would talk about like opening with his closer, and then being like, how do I build? I've got to go somewhere. Like I have to work it out on stage. I thought that was like very brave and an intelligent way to do it. When it comes to trying out jokes like that, though, I always say, only try the ones you like, and only keep the ones they like. Because if you try one you don't like and the audience loves it, you're stuck with that fucking thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I never have self-deprecating jokes, but I had one in my act like a couple of tours ago, and my openers would laugh because they were like, "You're just having fun." And all of a sudden, you tell this joke, and then you're like mad at the audience for laughing. Like the joke was on me, and it just annoyed me. I hated self-deprecating comedy. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if I like it or not. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm kind of fine with it. I don't know. I think for me, a lot of times it feels like just survival. Like, how do I survive through this hour with this group of people to get some high that I need or something that I need that I've always needed? And how do we get to the end of this with it being a fair exchange? That's my biggest thing. I want it to be fair for their money that they spend and fair for what I give them, And then I start to look deeper sometimes, like why do people come to see things? What do we look for in people that we go to watch or that we let entertain us? Like what I'm putting my own attention on. That seems to be the biggest thing, man. It's really crazy to think how many strange people get together in a building and how much, like I was thinking yesterday about how Brody Stevens took his life, right? Like that's crazy because so many of us had seen him that night. And there's nothing about him that seemed very erroneous or, like people knew that he was struggling. You never kind of knew what level he was struggling at because I think he put so much of it also into his act. So you were never sure how much was an act and how much wasn't.
No, I mean, people who are like the most depressed put on the best mask. It's like, if you ever see those memes, it's like, this isn't the face of depression, someone being like crying. It's like, it's somebody's like it's the smile's too big. It's like, no one's that fucking happy, man. What's going on? And I'm not like Brody was always a ball of sunshine, but I mean, I was shocked and gutted when that happened. And most of the time, I remember Robin Williams. I was like, this fucking guy who like everyone thinks is the funniest person of all time, like had to pull the plug. Like that was gutting. That I'm not. I understand that everyone dies, and deaths rarely bother me, but suicide is always just devastates me. Like I got to take the afternoon to like process, call the therapist, and just like talk it out because it's always brutal. Brody was a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was so big too. He was so much bigger than life. I think what scares me the most about it is that it's like, could that happen to me? Could that happen to, how do you go from seeming just like every other comedian at the store in a way? Not, I mean, of course you're individual, but just seeming like every other comedian to suddenly, like can something happen in your brain that just makes that happen?
Yes. I mean, suicide, and I've read a book about this last year, I think, amazing book. It was just like suicide's almost like a state of mind. Like it's just like something comes over you and you can't help yourself. Like you're not who you normally were. And a lot of times if a friend of mine or someone I know, dies by suicide, I have to know the details. Like I need to know what happened. Was it financial? Was it like, I was reading a book where if people try to kill themselves by jumping off a bridge into water, if they do it over romantic entanglements, if they do it over a woman or a guy, they almost always, if they don't die when they hit the water, swim to the surface. They're like, what am I doing? This is so stupid. And they swim out and they get saved. If they're jumping over financial shit, they sink like a stone. It's like, thank God this is over. Like it's just these different things get into people's minds and just extinguish any sort of flame.
There's a book about that? Oh, wow.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. I wonder if I have too much of an ego. That's why I wouldn't. Like, ego's so interesting because it's like kind of this shadow, but it's like this. I don't know.
When you say ego, do you mean like your body saying like, not today? Or do you mean like you're in your mind being like, I'm not going to let people read about me tomorrow that I took my own life?
That's what I think. I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I don't want to die. This is all I'm doing is being alive. So if I die, that's probably going to be pretty boring, At least if I'm alive, I can do any, the things are possible.
I feel like death sounds great. It's just like you get to sleep. Like I don't sleep that well. So like the idea of just like you go to sleep forever sounds awesome. Suicide, I'm not going out like that. I'm not doing that to people who knew me. That's not going to be the end of my story. And I just like refuse that. I never even entertain it. But I am fascinated by it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't, and I don't know how I would do it. I just don't know if I could I don't want to do it. I would do like the guy in the garage with the piping or whatever, probably something casual.
Yeah, I used to think that I'd be like, okay, I'd be like a bathtub guy, kind of thing, or take some pills and go to sleep. And then I would read about it more, and it was like, men don't do that. Men pull out the shotgun. Yeah. Men jump off a thing. Like women take the pills. Women go in the bathtub. And I was like, oh, well, then this isn't for me. I'm not going out pansy style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Look, I was raised by my mom, so I used to wear that towel. I would put it up around my chest sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? Like the bath towel?
Yeah.
And then one day, I was at my buddy's house. He's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you have the towel like above your breast or what?
Any drunk people was
the drunk is the worst.
In the world.
Yeah. That's one thing I love about not drinking is just not having to deal with that type of energy because it's already weird enough if somebody knows you. But then I think if they're wasted, it makes you just kind of scared. It's just too risky.
Oh yeah, and then they want to come back. It's like, hey, I just want to say I'm a huge fan. Like, thank you. And they're like, can I get a picture?
Yeah.
5 minutes later, like, I just wanted to tell you this one joke. And you're like, this is my line.
Like, yeah, my sister's here. Yeah, dude, my fucking, she loves you. She wants to FaceTime you.
Yeah, and I get it. They're fans. Like, it's cool. But like, they buy tickets. But when they're drunk, it is really tough to deal with.
Yeah, one guy put me on the phone with his sister, and she's fighting with her husband, like having a fucking fist fight with her husband, right? In some house somewhere, and I'm like, and the guy's like, she loves you. He's so drunk he doesn't realize I'm like a domestic dispute or something. He's like, she loves you, and I'm just like, she's down 2-0 against Stanley right here. I don't know.
I'll never do the video. I'll never take the phone. Like if they went like, hey, can I get a picture? Of course. Sign this. Like I got into the airport today, and these like 3 guys with like a stack of shit, and I'm just like, it's easier just to do this real quick and get out of here. But I'm like, this is all going on eBay. This is dumb as shit. But it's easier just to do it. But if like we do a video for my friend who couldn't make it, no, I'm not doing that.
Were you bummed when the roast kind of went away? Did that bum you out?
No, I was happy to do 3 and then done.
Perch for you.
Yeah, and it was all I wanted to do. I was like building my act towards getting on that. The Trump roast was like my big break. My life was night and day after that. Then the Sheen roast came like a couple months later. It wasn't that long. And that was even bigger. And that I felt insane pressure because I was like, well, that was my big break. And those were jokes that I've been working on forever. Now I've got 4 months. This is my sophomore album that could tank. And I didn't want it to seem like, oh, I got lucky. So that roast was so stressful. And then it was like a year until the Roseanne was my last one. And that was a letdown. It didn't have the same like hype to it that Trump and Sheen had. Yeah. Like I remember I showed the next weekend, and like the ticket sales were just normal. Like it wasn't like I didn't get the bump that I got after Sheen and Trump. And I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. It's like it's just not fun telling the same kinds of jokes. And I didn't approach it like Jeff Ross, who was just like Jeff Ross could do it forever,
right? To
anyone, no one's getting mad. He's just perfect at it. My thing was like too like Darth Vader. Like I was coming to kill everyone there, and I didn't want to do it again. That people ask me every now and again. I'm like, it would take a lot. It would have to be money because I just feel like I've done it and I feel like I did it perfectly.
Right.
That to come back, I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure to perform. Like the audience might be there to see me, and they've loved my last 4 hours, but this 5th hour better measure up, or I feel terrible. So yeah, it's just hype.
Yeah, and I guess once you do